Hello and welcome to Illuminations with Tina and Fee. For you who desires a life of abundance, I'm Tina.
I'm Fee.
And you're Fee.
I'm Fee.
You're Fee. I'm Tina. We're back talking about joy. This time we'll throw it around a little bit, and I'm going to ask Fee a little bit of question. Fee. So when you are in joy, what takes you out of joy?
Yes, good question. We talked a little bit last time about that kind of forebodingness, that catastrophizing that can kick in. So I'm aware of that. For me, my joy killer is comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I step into comparison, that will always take me out of joy. I've noticed that, so I can be in my flat, and I said, having that lovely moment, and I loved your language, allowing myself to be, enjoy whatever it is. And then I might go, what might I do? Oh, I'll just inane stuff, probably, like, but I don't have a garden, or but they're a coach and they live in that lovely house up in Edinburgh, by the sea, or, they're not very good examples, but they're kind of where I go if I'm really honest and show up, which they're very uncomfortable to say, which is probably why I'm squirming, because it's like, I probably do think those, even though they're not in my heart, they're kind of, so it's the comparison. So I've unsubscribed from a lot of websites and people I admire and adore and have been inspired by and guided by, because it was just, I was not getting near joy with all of that going on. Every time I read how well they were doing, I'd be like, oh, why? And so, yeah, comparison is the road to misery, as Brené Brown says. And it certainly is for me. That is my joy killer. I
don't think it is a joy killer.
It is a joy killer. That's true.
Truth. Very few things are absolute truths in this world, and it's like, but very common one to watch out for. And isn't it interesting? Kind of just being there, like, oh, life is good. Oh, but I don't have a garden. Oh yeah, shit. Let me concentrate on that for a while now. The lack of, instead of the abundance of what I have.
Yeah, and I agree with Liz. Since I started my gratefulness practice, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think when we first met, I started it, and now, like this morning, I realised I thanked the universe probably about 5 times already for something not breaking, for something working, for the weather being lovely, because my partner's doing a big job and taking down a greenhouse today and moving it. And, the more I'm grateful, that definitely allows me to be in joy. It's all day. And I was inspired by our friend Marky Bobs on that, because I think I've mentioned when I first had a session coaching time with him, and he was so grateful. I was so inspired that it's that helps for sure. So being grateful. And the other thing I do is, this is inspired by Gabby Bernstein, is I kind of question what I'm telling myself as a story. And I go, is this story, if this story contributing to me being still and allowing me to be in this state of joy, or is this storytelling putting me more into victim state? Because I can do that. And that's very powerful. I often will just question that in a loving way with myself. And that helps.
I had a thought about the comparison thing. It came and then it went, and it was something really. A boo. Indeed, boo. Oh well. Oh yes, I was going to say, often when when I compare myself to someone, I compare myself with someone who's let's say if in a professional way, you know, like this is where I am in my business. I don't often compare myself with others who are in the same place. I compare myself to others who have been doing it for 20 more years or 20 years longer than I have. You know, it's like, well, that makes sense. You know, and I think it's so damaging as well. We don't know what's going on for other people.
Oh no.
You know, both of us, we know that we can perform if we need to. We will put on a face and it's like, oh, everything is fine. And really behind the mask, there's something, you know, a very, very, very different picture going on. So the comparison thing is like, it's really flawed, because how do we know? You know, we can only know our own reality, you know, what we are in.
Yeah, and actually, I think there's something nudging around from when we talked the first time, which you raised wisely about, you know, joy when others aren't in joy. I think sometimes that comparison, I then will take myself out of joy, because it doesn't seem okay to be in joy when someone wants to be in, you know, talking about what's going on in the news or what's terrible in the world, or and I think that I kind of go, oh, I won't show up too much as Pollyanna here, you know, I'll keep it down. And I dumb my joy probably. I'm getting better at not, but it's definitely something that I'm uncomfortable about. Do you think it's more difficult? This is a very general question. At this time, do you think it's more difficult to show up in a place of joy than it is to show up in a place of doom?
Yes. And I think culturally, and I know Tony Robbins as well talks about this, you know, and he puts it very well, and I can't remember what he says. But yeah, it is, you know, because I think that the person who arrives at the workplace, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like, oh, I don't want to be at work. Everyone's like, yeah, well, that's life, you know, we understand you. But somebody who turns up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whoa, I'm at work, life is great. They're like, well, you need to be in a nut house. Isn't that, and it's amazing. It's so sad. Why do we do that?
Well, I'm going to show up, and Liz knows this. When I first met Liz, I thought she was on something. I couldn't believe that anybody could be that joyful and happy all the time. I really thought this woman is hiding stuff. And actually,
we hope you were listening now.
Yeah, she will be. And she knows this. We've laughed about it, but I really have learned. She chooses joy. She just chooses it. And I'll share the book that I was going to talk about, Living with Joy by Sanaya Roman, which I'll never forget reading that. That was about 2 years ago. And it says, well, you can just choose to live in a life of joy. And I'm 2 years later, I'm slowly getting there, you know, but yeah, you're right. And yeah, it's easy to be, I mean, I don't do much doom and gloom. It's not I don't think I've ever been like that, if I'm honest. I mean, I was very influenced by my dad. He always saw good in life, and he would get up in the morning and say, oh, it's a great day to be alive, and sing. I was very lucky to have a father who embraced the world like he did. And so there was examples of joy. It's just more the undercurrent of, you know, the stuff that's not said is a lot harder to kind of get a grip on or understand than I think the more overt stuff, you know. But yeah, can you choose to live a life of joy?
Yeah.
Just choose.
Yeah.
In this moment, I can choose joy.
Yeah. Sometimes it's easier than other times.
It certainly is.
Depending on the starting point again, you know.
Yeah.
But it is a choice. I do think it is a choice, but it's not always easy. But then
Which may be a belief.
Well, of course it might be a belief.
Because Liz obviously thinks it's very easy. She was a wonderful start to this.
But that's of course like we talked about in the last
Yeah,
episode. It's starting point. But I don't want anybody to think that, oh my God, I can choose it and I'm not choosing it because I can't choose it. There's something wrong with me. You know, that kind of starts the kind of self beating self up. Like, well, I should be able to choose. You know, and I don't know. There's the kind of, I think allowing is a big word for me right now. It's like, can you allow it? Can you just
accept it?
accept it for the moment that it comes? Am I worthy of that? You know, I mean, we kind of talked about that as well. You know,
that's biggie. Yeah.
But just I guess if the starting point can be like the question, is it available to me? And it's like, yes, it's available to everybody. Okay, so it's available to me, and then I can maybe choose it if I want to choose it. Not everybody wants to choose it, amazingly enough, probably. But there we go. Anyway, we're out of time.
Cool.
Do you want to have any question or any kind of lasting comment? Any lasting comment? A last comment?
I suppose I would just invite our listeners to look for those moments in the day when they have allowed themselves to be in joy, for however short or long it is. So maybe at night, you know, as alongside your gratefulness practice, of course, 3 things you're grateful for, maybe spend some time looking at those joyful moments, that however small they are, over the day. Because I think sometimes we get a mindset that there isn't joy when actually there has been. And so I would just invite listeners, to watchers, to consider that.
Yeah, I think that's a really brilliant one, because we tend to forget. We remember the negative things that have happened over the day somehow. But so asking that question, kind of highlighting those moments, like that's brilliant. That's really great. Thank you so much. Right, thank you for watching or listening, whatever way you've been doing this. Subscribe. You'll get us in your inbox once a week saying, hey, there's a new episode out. That would be great. And until next time, take care. Bye now.